welcome back, Robbo.
Yes, what's up? I know people don't like to see a grown man cry.
Yeah, you know that.
I was bawling. I was doing the show Thursday night and I was bawling. But I'm here. Fixture list wagwan, Daddy Ernie.
Fixture list wagwan, Robbo Ranx. Give thanks.
Ernie, where the hell did you dig that shirt from?
Listen. When we talk about history, we got the history, we got the shirts, and we got the paraphernalia. Slowly but surely, I'm digging out the paraphernalia to let you know that we got history.
You definitely were digging. That looked like you digged that one from underneath your bed. That looked like pajamas, bro. That ain't a football kit.
No. This is AIG when they used to support us, when they used to sponsor us. You know what I mean?
People. If you see Daddy Ernie pull out the shirts them where Bobby Moore used to wear, you must understand. Theme thing that, you know what I mean? Sorry, I beg your pardon. Bobby Charlton and Dennis Law. George. I know you have a George Best type, you know. The tight one, them.
No, the round ones, them. That's the round neck.
And I must say, people, that shirt there, Ernie, you got a dash with these shirts now.
No.
They don't fit you. They don't fit you anymore.
What are you talking about?
That was when you was a full Daddy Ernie. No, he's a half Ernie. He's a half Bernie. Them shirts don't fit you, son.
My missus called it Heng Pan Neil. So I'm on Heng Pan Neil shirt now. You know what I mean, Robert? But I was looking for you today, boy. I heard that the track and trace business it ain't running up in Liverpool. It's like, I don't know, mate. Your goal scorers, the track and trace, them can't find the net.
Hey, big and serious. Them man, they probably got track and trace pings. Them man, they playing like they got corona. Them strikers are playing seriously, and I ain't mocking anybody that's had it.
No,
them strikers are playing like them have some disease I go on. Because the man them see the goal, you know, and the man them shooting in the crowd, the man them shooting at the bar. So I reckon they got a strain, you know. I reckon they have a strain. It's a different strain, Mane and Salah. Bobby Firmino had the strain long before corona.
Yes,
but you see Salah and Mane. Why is that? And I think Origi must have caught the strain as well in the dressing room.
Firmino, he's Brazilian, isn't he? Firmino, when come he's Brazilian, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, that says it all. That says it all. The new strain coming.
People, you see these brothers, they're like Trump, man. They just say things, just rolls off their tongue. We don't want to offend any Brazilian fans. Sorry, anybody watching from Brazil, you haven't got, that strain, but it's a worldwide thing. But seriously, Ernie, we got to talk about what happened last week Sunday, and because most people, watch the biggest game in the English Premier League.
Yes.
Most people have got their opinions about it, and I'm wondering. We set a time limit this week. We got our time limit of how long we're going to talk about last week's match. But I think we should kind of like throw the clock out the window, because last week's match there wasn't much to pick out of it. Apart from Daddy Ernie was the only person who came on the show with his big brain and predicted the score 0-0.
0-0. Well, I predicted a draw. I just said a draw, which it could have been 1-1, 2-2.
No, you actually said 0-0. I watched the tape, son.
Okay. Well, I think Robbo really, and maybe Eddie wanna come in when he comes in later on, and Rodney.
Full Eddie's on the show again.
Yeah. Eddie.
I thought you said the money. I thought you said the money's coming and we're getting some bigger guests like Robbie and and some of the ex-baller them and Terry and Ian. The money not coming yet.
No, not yet.
Eddie.
Not yet. Yeah, but Eddie's a staunch Man U fan, and I spoke to him during the week. He was happy, conservatively happy. You know what I mean? He was a bit reserved, but he was happy. Rodney's going to come as the moderator as well. I think Spoonie saw the light of day and he's thrown in the towel. But maybe he might come to assist you.
I think Spoonie's definitely ducked out today, man. You see, Spoonie now takes it to heart. Spoonie takes it to heart, but he will be back. He will definitely come back in and contribute to the talk. And I like how you talked about Rodney. We are going to also line up. We'll say it from now. The big game, the second big game, Manchester United and Arsenal. That's in the pipeline. And we're definitely going to throw a show. So people out there, I'm going to ask you from now if you have any wishes, any thoughts, any ideas you'd like to throw into the show, because we're not just keeping it all football, but you understand we are culture activists. We play the music and want to bring in more people like ourselves to talk about the game that we love secretly, which is football. So any ideas on the future game, especially Manchester United versus Arsenal versus Arsenal?
Actually, it's going to be at the Emirates because they beat us 1-0 up at the
theatre.
Oh,
the car park.
Yeah, but once they beat us, somehow
easy, Shirley. Wagwan.
Well, somehow Shirley. Somehow they manage to reverse and end up in 15th place. All of a sudden, they was down at 15th, but they're slowly climbing back up. So I would imagine next week is going to be feisty at the Emirates. But that's next week anyway. We'll talk about that. And also,
so we're definitely going to do this show because I need to say, reiterate. Yes. Anybody that supports dirty Arsenal,
oh dear me,
come forward.
Yeah, that's for next week.
Come in, yeah, for next week.
And no doubt the backroom team will put up the email address and all that for your messages so we can get you on. Also, Robbo, if we've got enough time this week and people are logged on and we can get them to jump in as well, we can see if we can get them to jump in. So it could be a bit tight this week, you know what I mean?
Anthony, the behind the scenes wants Anthony, your best place, son. You got that face. Your best place behind that camera.
Behind the camera. Yeah.
Shouts going out to Dotty Ronnie. Ronnie Biggs says Arsenal I got dead. But we'll talk about that. Dotty Ronnie, come off the screen. This spreader here, this spreader banned me the whole week.
You know that?
Top.
He actually gave me a swear word. He said to tell you, and I'll leave it just there. And I said, no, I can't say that to my friend. He's my friend, man. He's taking enough.
Them man, just anyway, chat. Mo must see them. Shouts going out to Tony the Entonator. Big up Frith. Queen's Park Rangers.
Rangers in us.
That one's throwback like Daddy Ernie's shirt.
Oh, easy now, Robbo. Queen's Park Rangers was good one. You know, Queen's Park Rangers, the first time I ever saw Peter Shilton play for Leicester was against Queen's Park Rangers. He was 16 years of age. He was enormous down at Loftus Road. 16, man. He was enormous. So, Frith, big up Queen's Park Rangers. You know what I mean?
And you know, the first time I saw Jamaica play football, after like this, I'm sure that was post 98 World Cup. Yeah, they came to the UK. I think they played after the World Cup. France, was it France World Cup? I can't remember. But when Jamaica, they played, and at that game, I don't know about the other guy. I know they played at Manchester at Old Trafford, Jamaica. But watching them play at Old Trafford, at Queen's Park Rangers that was the first time I seen them roll out. Then I saw them again at dirty Old Trafford, and I think England beat Jamaica 6-0.
Something like that. I saw
crazy.
them at Queen's Park Rangers, and I saw them at Reading as well. We was up there. So we've seen the I forget their nickname now, but
Reggae Boys.
Reggae Boys, yeah. And you know, that's a subject that we could touch on maybe in weeks to come. I don't know, because I'm of the one, Robbo, that I think that certain man should play for Jamaica, even though they were born here, but their parents is Jamaican. I think they should play for Jamaica.
Listen, I beg Sterling, you know.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Because money's no problem.
Yeah, mum said, "Are you kidding, son? Are you joking?" Straight England, he went.
Nah, to me. All right, it might give them a little bit more kudos, but you see, if they're playing for the country of their birth, it would inspire some of the youth who's coming along to play for their country. Because England's got this thing where, all right, Sterling's fortunate, he's more than good, he's exceptional, but they got this thing of where they give them caps which enable them not to play for their country of their birth. Zaha played for England and now he plays for the Ivory Coast, and rightly so as well. He saw the light, you know what I mean? So I'm up for that. But anyway, listen, last week, I think there was a lot of respect shown by both sides. It's obvious that they didn't want to lose. I knew that Solskjaer was going to go there primarily not to lose. And he did that. And he nearly pulled off the coup d'etat, because if it wasn't your keeper, Robbo, because he made 3 exceptional saves, and really, the guy never really had nothing really much to do. if your keeper never done those saves, that game would have been curtains for you. You know what I mean? You could have been 6 points behind us before Burnley come and done up your place. Waltz to Anfield and just bruise you up.
Listen, you sound like a man that just watched the game once and then you put on your slippers and you watch Gary Lineker. I watched the game twice.
What, Manchester United, Liverpool?
Manchester United, Liverpool. And I watched that game twice. And yes, Pogba had a clear chance.
Yeah.
But it was, the angle was really tight. But a player of his ability, he should have scored. But if you watch that game again, Bobby Firmino's chances, brother.
Was he playing?
He was straying. I don't know if he was playing. I think he was straying.
Track and track.
If he was clinical, we'd have been 3 goals up.
No, easily. Robbo, stop that. You're clutching at straws, bro.
Ask any. If my Liverpool fans and friends are out there and you watch the game and you watch those chances that Bobby Firmino had, brother, he should have scored them.
I can't remember Firmino. What chance did Firmino have? Firmino?
He had a chance where he was set up by Mane just outside the box and he skewed it in the top stand. He had a chance where he took the ball off Salah just in front, just in the box. He ran onto a ball that Salah was dribbling into the goal and Salah lost the ball, but it came straight to Firmino. Boom. He hit that one straight at the goalkeeper and he had a third. Bobby Firmino had 4 chances to score. They weren't great chances. They didn't look as obvious as Pogba's chance, but there were 4 big chances.
You're saying about Pogba. What about Fernandes? Fernandes had a chance as well that your keeper saved with his legs.
Yeah, but even that chance, he should have scored. You're right, but that ball that came to Fernandes, he was kind of on top of the goalkeeper. Was really on top of it. He'd have to hit that ball in the top corner. I think Fernandes' chance probably was a harder chance than it was close to the goal, but it was probably a harder chance than Firmino. Firmino shipwreck, bro. Shut up, Ronnie, about half chance.
Hey, I think Rodney Hines is about to join us as well.
The great Rodney Hines.
The football pundit. I mean, it'd be interesting to find out.
Evening.
Good evening, Rodney. How you doing?
Yeah, very well. It's fascinating listening to you about last week. All I can tell you is this, right? Liverpool's missed chances, it was AKA Newcastle game, West Brom game, etc., etc. Just can't finish. And I think I said it last week. Liverpool are not playing well right now. It's as simple as that. And every team will have to go through that at some stage during the season. And even last night, Firmino didn't start the game. And I know you were talking about him, missed some big chances. Do you know what I mean? And yet Origi takes that chance in the first half. Crisis over for Liverpool potentially.
So Rodney, you're the sports writer at The Voice. I'm sure that your column or your piece on the match couldn't have been that long because the game was a drab. But we just talked about the chances. I mean, you'd have to watch back the game. Do you think Ernie's assessment of the chances that Fernandes had and Pogba had? I believe that, as I said, Firmino had at least 4.5 gilt-edged chances. You believe that he should have put them away?
He should have done, but as I said, people talk about Liverpool's defense, etc., etc. It's up front. Those guys up front normally get Liverpool out of holes, etc., etc. And no doubt we'll talk about the defensive challenges, which means there's the midfield challenges. But you're right. Liverpool come out of the traps firing last week. Just didn't put any chances away. And that's going to cost. Confidence goes, nerves kicked in, as it did last night. Liverpool are not in good shape at the moment. It's as simple as that. Chelsea are not in great shape. Big hullabaloo about them. Arsenal haven't been in great shape. Lots of teams are struggling, but I think I said it last week. There was no chance that Liverpool for a third season would be able to keep up the intensity that they've had for the previous 2 seasons where they've been almost perfect. Add the obvious injuries to key players. That's why right now, if Tottenham and Everton win their games in hand, and then Tottenham put Liverpool to sleep next Thursday evening, could be at the title race. Simple as that.
Well,
I definitely believe. I believe if we lose to Tottenham, it's title definitely over.
Well, Robbo,
I just think, Robbo, it depends on what Mourinho's thinking is next week, because even though we're saying what we're saying, if something bobbles in off Firmino's backside or Mane's chin, then obviously Liverpool are back in it. Do you know what I mean? If Arrigo takes that chance yesterday, I don't think we're putting, you know, the microscope under Liverpool in the same way as we are clearly doing it now.
So what time is the match next week?
It's Thursday at 8 p.m.
Okay, so it's a night game. So obviously Mourinho would be thinking about night bus.
Yeah,
bring the night bus. It's a night bus.
Well, the way that Mourinho sets his teams up, Robbo and Ernie, right? At the end of the day, they're a counter-attacking team. Agreed? They've got all those midfielders, Højbjerg, Sissoko, Ndombele. So I don't think they're going to come on to Liverpool. I think Liverpool will have to come on to them. But then you've got Kane and Son that are likely to hit Liverpool's defence on the break. But as I said, with all due respect, Liverpool's defence, for me, isn't the issue. And I think everybody's missing the issue right now. Do you know what I mean? You know, you're not really getting hammered. Last night was a travesty. But if you don't pay attention in the Premier League, it can happen. And all credit to Burnley, by the way. They hung in there, but didn't West Brom, but didn't Newcastle, etc., etc. I'm more fascinated, and no doubt we'll talk about it, as to United's thinking on Sunday. What do they do when Liverpool are face down in the gutter right now? Because for me, last week, Man United were not brave enough to win that game. They simply were not brave enough.
Well, my opinion, I mean, firstly, I did tell Robbo at the beginning of the season that Liverpool weren't good enough to defend their title. I did tell Robbo that, and he said, what are you mad? Well, it's going to be proven that Liverpool, like my friend Fidel said, one season wonders. They're like Trump.
They're not one season wonders.
Well,
they lost one title by 1 point and were almost perfect when Man City were perfect.
Yes.
And then hold on, this time last year, there wasn't even a discussion about the title race. I don't think we should disrespect what Liverpool have done. And by the way, there's a Champions League being chucked in as well. By the way, okay, I don't think we should disrespect what they've done, but we should recognise that the champions of England are in a bad place right now.
I'm still surprised. I think it's just Ernie being a horrible man. How can you tell me you don't think Liverpool's team, based on leading the Premiership, 18 points clear, weren't good enough? How did you see through your spectacles that Liverpool weren't good enough to win the title again?
No,
crazy prediction.
Well, no, but how can it be crazy? It's going to be proven. There are six.
But we know why it's been proven. We can see because Liverpool obviously is, like most teams, hit bad form, but the injuries has been horrific. How did you foresee?
Robbo, that's why you have a big squad. Right? Now, this time last year, Liverpool was about 22 points ahead of Manchester United. Forward 12 months later, we are 6 points ahead. That's a hell of a difference. You know what I mean?
It's a hell of a difference, but I know why there's, and you know why there's a difference. It's not because hang on. It's not because Man United. Let's be honest with you. This is not because Man United's team has improved so much that you are 6 points better than Liverpool as a team. It's not that. It's because Liverpool's form has dropped and Liverpool has suffered craziest set of injuries. It's been like it's injuries and madness that you would have never predicted. You'd have never predicted Van Dijk would have been hobbling like that. A man that's played for 2.5 seasons untouched. You'd have never believed that Gomez would go and train for England and block his knee. Never.
No,
you never predicted these things.
That's why you have squads.
Okay, I understand. But the only downside, and most Liverpool fans would have identified it, when we lost Lovren as a defender, we should have then went out and bought a player. But that would have been one player. Still would have been struggling. But in terms of a squad, I think Liverpool's got a fantastic squad. It's just that your two biggest centre backs are out.
Not good
Remember,
enough.
our goalkeeper was out at the beginning of the season as well. Alisson was out for the games where we got battered 7-0 by Aston Villa. That would have never happened. Never.
What? Well, it
So
happened.
it's bad luck. It's bad form. And it's bad of you to talk about my team like that. Rodney, take it away, man.
What I would say is clearly, let me deal with Liverpool first because they're the champions of England, right? I think clearly the injuries, and it's still, Robbo, it really riles me still that Jordan Pickford got away with that challenge. On Robbo Ranx. Did you understand? Yeah. And I think, I don't know if anybody caught it the other day, the referee at the time, Michael Oliver, did say that in hindsight, he should have sent him off. I don't know if
he wrote a column.
Yeah, he wrote a column, right?
And the Liverpool players didn't really say nothing, so why let it slide?
No, he said he was more concerned with giving offside, if you remember, than picking up on the disgraceful challenge by England's #1 goalkeeper. But that aside, when you lose Gomez and Van Dijk, what's happened for Liverpool, Robbo, is that clearly, for me, your best two midfield players, Fabinho and Henderson, you've lost that creative spark, which the front three could rely upon in terms of the press and getting the ball early. I saw Wijnaldum last night. He's not the same player without the other two next to him.
No, it's not his game to.
It's not his game.
He's a patroller.
Yeah,
his game is to patrol. He sees
between their bricks,
and he blocks lines. But he's a more of a patrolling. If you take, equally, if you take Wijnaldum out your team, you've lost a player who can get around the pitch really well.
As a three, they're perfect.
Yeah.
Right. But in terms of Man United, so I think that when you play Fabinho and Henderson as your centre halves, you're clearly gonna miss something in midfield, which the front three have been relying on for the last 2 or 3 seasons.
100%.
And for United, I think we have to give credit where it's due, Robbo. They have truly
don't say improved. They improved.
They've improved. No, I think they've improved.
Fernandes has made the difference. That teammate. Did you see Bill and Ben? Did you see them two centre halves?
Ernie knows that I'm a big Pogba fan, and he's come to the party. Big win against Burnley, outstanding goal last night against Fulham or whatever night it was, right? So I'm just thinking, the only doubt I have about United is whether they believe it themselves.
Well, I think they believe in it. It's growing. The belief is growing. It's growing.
But I think if we want
to talk about Garnet Silva, it's growing. It ain't going.
I think if you want to talk about belief, you're going to have to say Leicester believe. You're going to have to say Everton believe.
Well, I think Leicester believe. I'm talking about Everton.
Everton believe in what?
I say what I say, Robbo, simply because even if it's for one season only, this is a mad season. This is a mad season. So it's even more mad than it was in 2016 when Leicester won that title, as far as I'm concerned. And I still say you can't discount Tottenham Hotspur. They may not be the sexiest team in the top 6 right now, but they've got a manager that knows how to win the title. They play a counter-pressing game. And I think it's interesting, if they can keep Kane and Son fit, they're going to be in with a shout.
Well, 100% agree with you about belief. Belief is something that I've seen. Belief and a good mentality is something that I've seen pull Liverpool into what they are now. People can 100% can say this. Liverpool didn't buy a title. This was plain hard work. And that's
what are you talking about? You bought Van Dijk. You bought the goalkeeper.
Not buying a title. Buying the title is when you spend £75 million on Slabhead, another 80 million Pogba, another 50. That's buying the title. That's what Chelsea do and Man United do. Liverpool's listen.
How much you pay for the goalkeeper?
£65 million.
How much you pay for Van Dijk?
£75 million.
All right. How much you pay
for Pogba?
89.
How much you pay for the most expensive defender in world football?
80 million.
Currently.
80 million. Robbo, what you realize? You see, if you have it, you spend it. That's not how it goes. You never had it. It's only lately you start spend 2 little shilling, but you did buy players with the intention of winning the Premiership.
But Bernie, let's be fair. Liverpool bought those players because
and I like you to call them like you to call it by the right
Coutinho,
name.
hang on, Coutinho allowed us to do that.
Agreed. Yep.
We
Totally
wouldn't
agree.
have done it no other way. Liverpool wouldn't have done it. So I'm proud that
You know
the team.
what? Let me just interject there. You know, you talk about the Coutinho, and you're absolutely right. That was a catalyst for that money being spent, right? But at least I'm saying at this moment in time, Liverpool have seen value for their buck.
100%.
Because Karius clearly wasn't up to speed in the Champions League final, and obviously your centre half situation needed to be sorted out. It has now been sorted. Do you know what I mean? And as I said, to lose Gomez and Van Dijk within minutes of each other, quite literally, massive blow for anybody. Best centre half in the world, and a young defender at centre half in Gomez that was looking good and clearly needed Van Dijk's input. So, Man United. And I've got to ask you, if we're talking about money, Van der Beek.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
No,
was that
Van der Broek.
Was that a faux pas, or does he come into his own second half of the season? Because right now he's not going to get a game.
Well, no, I think Van der Beek. My train of thinking, is that I think that Pogba's going to go. Although he's playing exceptionally well at the moment, I think he's going to go, and Van der Beek will be his replacement.
That's good. Van der Beek is the new replacement for Pogba.
That's what I'm thinking.
Listen, I'm hoping.
He might not be in the same league as Pogba at the moment, but to me, Pogba, well, up until a few weeks ago, he had a problem. All of a sudden, I don't know, he did have corona before. I don't know if it was that, but he had a problem and he looked like he was going to be out of the door. He's playing now as if he's a player who is in the shop window.
No,
I think that if we can get anywhere near 89 million for Pogba, Van der Beek is not a ready-made replacement straight in, but I think he would be a good replacement.
I think.
Can we block Ronnie? This brother, he's distracting me with this on-screen nonsense.
I like the man with an opinion.
We got him for in strength. What we got him for? What in strength of what? Man, put down the Magnum, man.
Ernie, if Pogba does do what you say, but he leaves with a winner's medal from the Premier League, job done for you. Job done, isn't it?
Job done.
So
done.
You'd be happy for Pogba at 75 million to win?
No, 89. 89.
God have mercy. Is it 89 million?
Yeah, 89.
Yeah, it was about 90 million. Yeah. You'd be happy with Pogba for a 90 million pound player to win, not Champions League, just the Prem?
No, I would like him to win the Champions League, but
he ain't going anywhere.
That's not going to be this season, is it? And you're saying he's going?
Well, no, but you know what? If you know, Rodney, that for me, he has not lived up to the 80 million price tag playing for Manchester United. When he plays for France, he plays like an 89 million pound player. For United, he hasn't done that. But I must say, over the last month to 6 weeks, he looks like he's getting back to that 89 million pound player.
I mean, you touched on it. When he plays for France, he seems to be a different beast. But that is because, as I've said, he's normally got the Kantés and the Matuides of this world doing that work for him. Now maybe it's the McTominays and the Freds doing that work for him, which gives him a little level of freedom so he can go and do what he does best. For me, I still maintain on his day, and we haven't had enough of those, Paul Pogba is your best midfielder at Manchester United.
On his day?
I noticed Fernandes was looking a bit sore when he got taken off, man. He's like,
You know what?
I
mean, I know that for the year, and he's won numerous Player of the Month awards. For the last couple of games, in my opinion, Bruno Fernandes has gone missing.
You know why? Because his nose been put out of joint by the quality that Pogba is just oozing in the middle of the park. He's looking normal, bro. But
he's looked very normal in big games. I expected him to turn up.
Yeah, but I mean, if it leads United, to this push for the title, I'm sure they'll be able to work it out, because people say that there's a problem between Mane and Salah, and I've never heard so much rubbish in my life. The two guys are so close. like people say in the dressing room, them man, they're always together. But when you watch it on the pitch, people think there is a problem between the two players. I don't know. Maybe there is an ego, a slight nose out a joint for Fernandes. It could be coming. It could be something brewing. But I don't think United would be a better team with Pogba gone.
You mentioned the Mane Salah possibly there's a challenge or not. What I think it's done though, Robbo, is over the years and led to silverware, it's pushed Liverpool on. I think they've driven each other. They both want to be Golden Boot winners, which Salah has invariably been, as opposed to Mane. But I think they've actually driven each other on professionally. Hence,
do you also believe that these two players have peaked? Because there's strong opinions like, man, they're done. I mean, I heard I think Diddy Hammond or somebody else on one of their crap sports channels saying that they think that these players at the age of 28 have peaked. What's your opinion about that, Mane and Salah, and the age of the Liverpool squad? Because I think there's only James Milner's the only player over 30 in the team.
And I think I said it last week, and I said it in my pre-season sort of preview. I just believe that Liverpool have been nigh perfect for 2 seasons, right? I'm not sure that the way that Klopp wants to play with that pressing game, I don't know if you can do that for 3 seasons. And I think, as I said, allied to the injuries, that's why Liverpool have got a problem. And obviously they're the champions of England, so any sort of demise is gonna be great headlines for the media. Whether they can do it or not, I think the one player that is certainly in jeopardy of losing his place and had lost his place to Jota is Bobby Firmino. I just don't think his contribution at the moment. He was never the ace goal scorer of the other 2, but he brought other things to the party. But I think right now, out of the 3, it looks like his confidence is shot.
Yeah.
It looks shot to me.
100%.
And I think that's, that said, maybe the second person that looks like he's gone is Salah. He doesn't go past anybody anymore. Do you know what I mean?
I've seen that in Salah's game. From when he first come to the squad. He had that first unbelievable season. There was a part of the season where he scored those 30-odd goals that he dipped for about 6 games, and people was like, he's been found out.
And then he came again.
Yeah, what kicked him on was the Champions League games. Yes. And then he just went rest of the season and just shot up the season. So he's had periods in his game where Salah just looks like a lost player. I tell you where
I think the biggest problem is. We talked about the defense, we talked about the front 3. I just think I can't recall a team at this level, and it's been a very high bar, where collectively from almost 1 to 11, everybody looks like it's a struggle. I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's gone missing.
Sunday was.
I think there's a form problem definitely for there's players on the pitch that's got form problems. That happens in football. You'll have form problems, and being, we all know he's a young player. We all know that's gonna come when he's mentally stable. You'll see that it will even out in terms of, you may have 1 game, or 2 games, but you won't go through a period like him. There's definitely a form problem.
I think the challenge, Robbo, is that if you look at potentially Liverpool's man of the match for the last 2 or 3 games, it invariably, in my opinion, has been Fabinho. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else that's maybe tried a little something. You talked about your squad earlier on. I'm a bit concerned about the squad because Origi last night confirmed why he doesn't start games.
Well, I'm not overly concerned about the squad. Here's my thing, guys. I'm overly concerned about Klopp's thought process and his way of dealing with the squad, because I think there's enough talent in the squad where he could rotate the front 3, because that's what's giving you the biggest problem. Yes, we have a Fabinho and Henderson problem, and we haven't got that drive, but where you got a player like Thiago that compensate for quick passing and getting the ball out the midfield very quickly and putting it about where you're saving your legs. It's the front 3 is the concern, and we've got talent. There's enough talent.
I see Patrick was putting a message about Barcelona played the same way for 5 seasons. With all due respect, they did have quite a special player in their ranks that 9.5 times out of 10, Patrick, that saved them. Liverpool don't have that right now.
No. And talking about form, what do you think about Rashford? Because he's been a little bit missing over the last, Ray Rorkus has come up and said that, Rashford has been missing for a few weeks.
I think it's slightly different with Rashford, agreed. But I think where United have then benefited is that someone like a very experienced Cavani has come in and influenced games. Mm-hmm. So it's okay to have a dip if someone else picks up the baton. And I think that's what United have had. So dips for United have been Fernandes, they've been Rashford, Martial's been in and out, but they have been covered by the likes of Cavani, they have been covered by the likes of McTominay against Leeds was outstanding. So I think that's maybe why there is a 6-point difference. When United have had players that have dipped,
yeah, 100%.
Others have picked up the baton.
100%. And that I also bring that point towards where Trent is concerned. Trent is a defender. He plays in a defensive unit that he's been used to. That's kind of carried him. Even though Gomez is a young player, when Gomez wasn't playing, there was Van Dijk would play out on the right side.
Yes.
When obviously Matic comes, Matic was covering on the right side.
Yes.
So there was always an experienced inside player that played with him. This year, bro, it's been chop and change. So you can see that form and obviously positioning and having players around him. I believe he's good enough. I think he's a world-class player and he should be able to raise his game, but it just hasn't happened. But I keep faith in most of the players in the team. I did predict Fabinho would have a good game. He missed 4 chances. If he put one of those chances away, me and Ernie would be level in terms of prediction because he should have put them away, bro.
Robbo, you keep on talking about him, right? And this Liverpool team, right? I told you from the beginning of the season, they will not defend their title, right?
You're just saying that because it's easy to say that, but I believe you can.
Didn't I tell you at the beginning that they wouldn't defend it? And
you told me because you're bitter.
Bitter.
You have a bad-minded.
It takes a special team to defend.
Are you telling me? Are you honestly telling? Rodney, talk to me. Are you honestly telling me that this Liverpool squad that you've been watching for 3 seasons, you telling me that team's not special?
It's okay. It's not.
No.
Ernie,
you got to take the blinkers off, man. You got to take those blinkers off.
Ernie, listen, Ernie, I'm a Liverpool fan, and I'm sitting there sometimes going, "Rotted, what just happened there?" That's a special team that guy's got.
You know what, though, guys? I hear it all, and listen, I've got to say, Liverpool have been special. I don't care. Lost the Champions League final, came back and won it. Were almost perfect the year that City won it, and then came back the following year. So there has to be some special qualities with that. Okay, in terms of qualities. What I would say now, even in their challenge, we're only halfway through the season. We're only halfway through the season. There's still many points. But one thing I would say, Robbo, is that where we see Liverpool right now, we actually saw maybe a cameo of the problems when you got beaten by Villa 7-2. That is not meant to happen.
100%. And that's where I would agree with Ernie. That is a team that has to, have the mentality to defend a title. So yes, Ernie, you're right. Liverpool showed signs in that game against in fact, the games when we won the title. By the time we won the title, it showed signs that there may be a problem. But anyway, we got to look ahead to the game this weekend. I heard that Edward is in the house. Yeah, another bad-minded colleague, but a great broadcaster, award-winning broadcaster. Bad mind or us, but Ed's supposed to be here. Oh, he's sorting out his head. Yeah, he's sorting out his headphones, trying to get them around his head. So we've got to look at the game quickly. I don't know if we're gonna give a I think we are gonna give a prediction about the team. And let's do that star player again, because I think we all made mistakes last week. A lot of you were plumbing for Pogba being star man, really. I was saying Firmino would pull something out of the hat, but obviously that didn't happen. I believe the teams won't be the same. There's a reliance on squad where Manchester United is concerned when it comes to FA Cup, but they do take the cup serious. Although Ernie before the show said he doesn't think so, and Klopp on history doesn't take the FA Cup seriously. I mean, most of the times where Jurgen Klopp pulls out a team for the FA Cup, we're not surprised if we see school students and playground kids playing for Liverpool, because he invariably goes for the young players in the FA Cup. Things might be different this year.
I think
let's talk about that.
I think Klopp's got a problem, Robbo, because when you can't win the league, or you think you can't win the league, the FA Cup becomes important. Yeah,
yeah.
Because the Champions League is important.
Because that's still a month away, for example, right? That's still a month away, right?
That's the one day.
What I'm saying is,
easy, Paul Robinson.
Liverpool must have an eye on that game against Tottenham on Thursday night.
I don't think so. Yeah, the game Thursday night, definitely, yes.
It's Thursday night. Whereas I think United's next game is home to Sheffield United.
Sheffield United, yeah.
During the week, right?
So, easy, Jaffa, you're right there.
I just think that Liverpool's balance on Sunday could be interesting. You might see a similar team to last night, by the way. And if that's the case, I think United then have got to try and go for the jugular, because that team last night disappointed. I think the Shakiris of this world, the Origis, the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, I know there's mitigating circumstances with him in terms of just coming back from injury. They're not quite up to speed. So I think United will have to start favourites, and it's a case of whether they're going to have the bottle to go for it, to go for the Liverpool jugular on Sunday at 5.
Do you think you're underdogs, Ernie, in your red shirt?
No, I don't feel that we're underdogs. Ole's been playing what amounts to a squad rotation when it comes to the FA Cup. So I expect to see certain players coming into the team, but those players are exceptional players.
What exceptional players are going to come into your team? Juan Mata. Juan.
Listen, man, you can talk about all you want about
Matic and Juan Mata. That's what's coming. We know what's coming. Mata, Juan Mata, Matic.
Juan Mata and Matic, right? It's players up in the head. When your little Liverpool players, them are running around like headless chickens because they're young, then man, they would put a steady foot on the pedal, right? And steer us through. And I think, you know what, to tell you honest truth, I see it going to penalties, because there has to be a decision on Sunday. There's no replay or anything.
No replay. I think Cavani could be important on Sunday. Very important.
Cavani is going to be very important.
Yeah, I think Cavani is a game winner, and he could seal that game in 2-3 chances. He'll seal the game. But I don't think Liverpool will drop the entirely the front three. I think Mane starts, and I think that the players that were playing on Thursday may play again.
Yes,
on
I agree.
Sunday. The Shakiris. I think Origi starts. I don't think he had actually a terrible game. I think the only player that came into the squad that didn't look like he was up for it was probably Oxlade-Chamberlain. His standards was a little bit low, but as you said, there's mitigating circumstances. But I think the team is pretty much the same, and with a sprinkling of youth. But I do believe the Curtis Jones, I believe we'll definitely lose Trent in this game and bring through the name of the young lad, Williams at the back. Yep. I think Reece Williams comes in. So I think there's going to be a degree of young players as well as the experienced ones, are the players that we want to get back chomping again. And I believe, if so, I think the captain comes back, Henderson, as well.
Yeah, and I think he will. I think he'll be key to it as well. Just that experience.
Yeah. Well, so you could be right, Ernie. You could be right. It might be a case that it goes to penalties, but there will definitely be a game. I think both managers will put on that pitch potential quick game winners, people that will take chances, try to finish the game.
Well, I think for United, I think Telles is going to come in. Alex Telles is going to come in.
Who that?
What do you mean, who's that?
I'm joking. I know he's that Dutch guy, right?
What are you drinking in that glass? Because whatever you're drinking, try it away.
It'll be red wine, man. Red wine.
Confused, right? Telles. I think Telles will come in. Telles will come in.
Interrupt you, Ern. Let me just interrupt you. Telles has been the making of your boy Shaw in recent games.
Yes,
He
definitely.
Playing out of his skin.
I couldn't believe
Shaw's listen, they locked down Shaw. Lockdown has changed Shaw. No more running out to the kebab shop. It's lockdown that changed Shaw.
Not lockdown.
Fatty.
He had Salah. He had Salah in his back pocket on Sunday, Robbo. Tell me I'm lying.
It's not hard to have Salah in your back pocket right now.
Right now,
West Brom had him. Burnley had him. Ben Mee. Come on. Don't look at that one game and think he's the sorted player, because he'll come up against maybe a different type of striker and he's sleeping time. Sure ain't that guy, bro. Trust me.
All right, we'll
have good games.
See.
He's not that guy.
All right. Anyway, Telles is going to come in for sure. Van der Beek will start. Right?
For who?
Van der Beek.
Yeah, comes in for who?
I think you start for McTominay. I think you start for McTominay.
I think McTominay will start.
I think McTominay starts. I'll probably give him the captain's armband.
He was on the bench for most of the game against Fulham.
He'll have the captain's armband. He's your next captain, son.
Well, Greenwood and Cavani for me up front. With out of form our boy
Ratchet.
Who's feeding the world.
Rashford.
Yeah, with Ratchet.
Plays, man.
No, I think Rashford will get a rest, man.
I think Ratchet plays, man. Ratchet will play.
He needs a rest. He needs a rest.
We've got
where's Edward?
Formation 4-2-3-1
or a midfield diamond. And it depends entirely on whether we go 4-2-3-1 or a midfield diamond. It depends on what.
But that's your normal playing style, right? 4-2-3-1, right?
No, we never played that against you.
He did.
We never. I think
McTominay and Fredlocks.
Fredlocks
and McTominay were playing in front of slabs, and that's your normal position. That's your normal formation. Where's our brethren?
Here he is. Have a look.
Have a look.
Hey, listen, Ed. You plan your jogs around about like 9 o'clock. We told you.
No, listen. I really apologize. Profusely. We had serious problems. At work, because I've got a job, right? And at work, we prepared for the Prime Minister to announce something. He did a press conference today where he said absolutely nothing. So then the whole show was built around the fact that people who were having to self-isolate would get money. And then what happened? I lost my iPad. The computer wouldn't work. I ate some Chinese, and that comes straight through me. Tell me when I've given you too much information. But everything has conspired against me. It's gone now. Can you not see? I look just like Ernie.
Yeah.
Greetings, my brother Robbie, Ernie, and others. How are you? How is everybody? I told you, Robbo, there was a problem in your front line. I told you. I didn't get it right in the score. Ernie got that right. But I told you there's a problem. They're not communicating. Football is a game of fine margins. You wouldn't understand that, right? Me and Rodney understand that, and Ernie's getting into that because we're experts, we're intelligent, we have a higher force working with us. You don't have that kind of force. You lost to Burnley. My youth. You haven't scored a goal in, what is it? Rudders, have you told them last four? Wait, what's the last time they scored? Last four. Front line, you be telling me about Firmino, man. You be telling me about Salah. Not a goal. There is a problem in your team. And when you keep telling black people say they're not as good as the other guy there, they say, all right, well, let me show me. Right about now, you need to talk. Give Maine a little money, let him build another hospital, and then you see how he comes strong. Otherwise, you're doomed. You're doomed.
Why? Some strong prawns eat earlier on.
Robbo, if Man United win the league, you know you're going to have to leave the country for a little bit, though,
No. Listen, I've supported my team for many years, and I've had to watch Man United
Yeah.
win the league and humble myself.
Yeah.
But you have to learn to humble yourself.
Yeah.
But this league, listen, this thing is going to the wire. I'm not even talking about predictions of winning the league right now. But listen, Eddie, thanks for joining us. You might as well chime in right now.
No, hold on. I haven't finished talking yet. Hold on. All right. 7 consecutive ties against Liverpool between 1948 and 1999.
You can do that after.
Yeah,
I know
let me finish it.
I know you got your facts.
Liverpool have been eliminated from the FA Cup by Manchester United more than any other team. Yeah, more. I got more. Manchester United are unbeaten in their last 7 home games against Liverpool in all competition. You get that? You ready? I was ready for you. And the other spoonhead guy, where is he?
Listen, Eddie, I love those facts, and I want you to be factual because we want to give the show, we want to hand the floor over to you because you've been missing. But before we go into
you're going to ask me them same foolishness about team.
No, we're going to wrap up that predicted team. So just quickly give that.
All right. Ernie, come on. Where you started, Ernie? I'm with you. Come on, let's go.
Do your dimble beating, bro.
Let's go. Because we need to get Mata in there. We need to get slow coach in there. What you got? Matic and Mata have to get in there somehow. What you got so far? Working from the back.
Cavani's got to be in there.
Right. So from the back, I think it's Henderson in goal.
Yes,
I think
he's got.
Right. Tellez, I would like to see our man, Ballet, or Bailey, or whatever you want to call
Bali.
We got that back 4 wrong last week, didn't we?
We did.
Everybody got it wrong.
We got it wrong.
I saw Lindelof was playing. I thought, we're going to get murdered. But
and you nearly got murdered.
To be honest, Slabhead and Lindelof hold the line still.
Oh, they were awful, bro. They were rubbish.
Well, if they were awful, you lot must have been absolutely ridiculous.
We were. As Eddie said, our front line's been awful, but them two,
this is how it's been.
Hey, that's why they're not winning the league.
Mad.
I'd like to see in the middle of defense, Bailly and Tenzebi. I'd like to see them in the middle.
That's not going to happen, bro.
That's not going to happen.
I'm not going to play Slabhead.
Slabhead will play, and I would imagine he might play next to Lindelof, if I'm honest.
No, I think he can play Bailly.
It's a trophy that United can win, so why not go for it with arguably a really good defence?
All right.
We don't have any European football in the top level anymore, Ernie. He has to. He's got a reputation of getting nearly there and falling by the wayside. Yeah. Anybody with pride is not going to like that. That makes us sound like Tottenham.
So you reckon he's going to play Lindelof? You reckon he's going to play Lindelof and Bailly?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Don't forget Bailly's a bit injury prone, so you probably got to nurse him through a couple of games as well. And he played the other night, didn't he, against Fulham?
I think you've got to think about who needs a rest, and that's how we will determine it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Midfield,
I
would like to see Van der Beek in there, and Matic's going to come in.
Yes.
And Mata will play.
Yeah.
Because he has to play Mata in midfield. And Pogba, it's got to be Pogba, isn't it?
Possibly. Yeah, why not?
I think the thing is, right, the thing about that game that I don't like, and it's not just about Man United, that somebody goes from being an appalling liability 1 minute, and now everybody's talking about Paul Pogba the way that you and I were talking about him last week, Ernie. The finest, the best, the greatest, or whatever. I mean, I think that probably he is a rhythm player. And although I'd probably like to see other players given a go, I can't see how you leave him out, particularly with that midfield that you're picking there. Really, there is not really pace, is there? So you've got to pick out your passes very, very carefully. Not that there's a front line really to deal with Liverpool at the minute, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, but Van der Beek gives you a reasonable amount of pace if you're playing Matic and Mata.
What happened with Fred then? What's the story? What?
No, well, Fred, I don't think he's going to play Fred. I think Fred is going to get arrested.
Fred started against Fulham and had an okay game.
I think he's going to stay with Sheffield United because he's robust, isn't he? And we're going to need some robust player for Sheffield United during the week.
You can see how sensible people are watching us, because last week I told you how long Paul was out. Paul Pogba, father dead. He had a lot of stuff going on. He's getting a good run of games now. He's the boss. You have to just say he's the boss. He runs the midfield. He runs the game. He runs the dressing room. You build a team around him. You can't go far wrong, in my opinion. I think you're right. He will play him just so that you got somebody on the pitch. All the other big fellas will be on the bench, I reckon. And up front is the problem, because hasn't Rashford played more minutes than almost any other player?
Rashford gets a rest. I think he's not even in the squad on Sunday.
Rashford plays on Sunday.
So Cavani and Greenwood, don't you?
I think Rashford plays against Liverpool, man.
I think he's on the subs bench. I don't think you do that. It's only Man City and Chelsea of the old that had literally two top first teams. I really don't feel as though now the depth in the squad is the same, because you wouldn't say Matic or Mata would make first 11 of any of the top 4 or 5 teams in the Premiership. So you have to look at it like, there's some dead wood to get rid of. But this is a good game for people to try and play themselves back into the manager's favour.
Well, I mean, Mata and Matic really is there for their experience, isn't it? A calming influence in the dressing room. That's why those two are still there. I mean, we know that Mata's probably going to end up going into coaching at Old Trafford within the next couple of seasons. Probably Matic as well. So they're there simply for their experience. But I think against this Liverpool side here, I think they're going to come in and give an account for themselves.
Well, don't Liverpool notoriously play the kids in these types of games, which might be the worst. Which might be the worst thing for us, actually.
Hey, my question is, like Mata may take up a coaching role. Is Jones going to take up a coaching role? I'd love to see him coach your defenders.
Which Jones?
Don't disrespect yourself. You know which Jones.
Sick note. The man who could get injured putting on his boots, Ernie.
Yeah, he's going to get a coaching role. His favourite team's Liverpool, so he's probably going to get a coaching role there eventually. You know what I mean? No. We'll watch the space. Robbo,
should I give you my team?
Can you give us your?
Yeah, we won't know any of them though. They're babies, aren't they?
No. I think there's going to be a mix. I think Kelleher goes in goal.
Who?
The Irish guy. All right, cool.
No,
he's gonna be
Kelleher.
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 If you do that, we're gonna be here all night, Ernie.
Nico Williams at the back in for Trent. I reckon Matic plays. I reckon Fabinho stays at the back. I think Fabinho plays. What's our left back name? I've got the name. The left back, Rodney, the new guy.
I'm not sure, but he could actually drop Milner in there,
I think Milner goes in the middle.
You think? Okay.
He plays. Whatever happens, Milner plays. He's one of the best utility players in the history of the Premier League. He's amazing. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I think Milner plays, but I think that will be your only. I think it's either. But if Milner doesn't play, Henderson will play. It'll be one or the other. Jones definitely. I don't think he plays. I don't think he does the Brexit midfield in that Manchester United game. I think playing Thiago and giving Thiago match games Thiago stays in the squad. I think up front is where you'll find the change. I think Origi starts.
Must do.
I think he'll have a look at possibly Shaqiri again. But I definitely think there will be a change. Milamino will start.
Well, the problem is that any of those top three that get in with the other two out, it just heightens the problem. He said, and I'm sorry to if you've done this already, though, I do apologize, right? But Klopp has talked about not being in charge of recruitment. He's talked about having a clear the air meeting. There's a problem there. It's a serious. Serious problem.
He's been having these conversations. If you, I watched the press conference. He's been having these conversations throughout the season because a question was put to him about when he didn't mention that Jota was going to come in the team. All of a sudden, we got Jota, and the press, Rodney would tell you, the press was at him like, wow.
It was a wow moment, but it proved to be a correct one. But I think Eddie's right that I think there's a problem upstairs in terms of the finances. And if
I
you
think
add,
most clubs are going to suffer that right
if
now.
if you add the COVID scenario, I think I heard Mr. Klopp say the other day, "I'm not in charge of the money" or something
That's
to that.
right. That's what he said, and that's what he said.
So, with all due respect, if you lose if you lose your first choice centre halves, for me, you have to go and buy a defender. You have to go and buy a defender, and I think it's now catching up with Liverpool. But
remember also, Rodney, these conversations, and Eddie, these conversations always occur in January. Nobody asked him that question in November.
No, come on. Rob, we talked last week, right? It's it was your, if my memory serves me right, it's your way of form that has really been hurting you, right? Because you've been playing okay while Trump was in. You never lost at the COP, as far as I know, in those 4 years.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Right. So
as soon as you get that, you lose.
As soon as
they both left at the same time, Ed.
Something.
That's how my mind works. What do you want me to tell you? While President Trump was there, you never lost, right? So, but you lost now. But the point is, and it's so interesting in the way that your team plays, that tick-a-tacker thing, and the way Man City played. How long did it take for Manchester City Rodders to replace Company? You know, it's only now you're talking about Stonesy playing in a way. That position, that captain, that controller, he is the control. He's actually, the quarterback in American football. He calls it. He calls the line. He tells people when to go up. He tells when to. He moves it. He controls it. He understands it. He leads it. And when you lose that player there, way above the £70 million you pay for him, it is difficult because the dressing room is like, so you've lost your best player all of a sudden.
But Ed, they've lost their best player, but I think I said before you came on that I don't know if a team, the way that Klopp wants his players to play, that hard pressing game, I don't know if you can do that for 3 seasons, Ed. Yeah? Don't forget, as I said, they were nigh perfect and lost out to Man City by 1 point 3 seasons ago. They then ran away with the league last year. I don't know if you can get that same set of players at the same intensity for 3 seasons. Add the injuries. That's why I think that's why we're the most difficult thing, and Man United fans will know this better than most, is to actually defend the title. Do you know what I mean?
You got it.
Couple of things,
because everyone's trying to shoot you down.
All right, couple points to pick up on. Ed's right about the defense, but at the same time, Ed is throwing us to believe that it's the strikers, but now he's got this big Van Dijk situation where we can clearly see that the defense have been pretty solid without him. It causes an effect to the whole team. Yes, it does. So the other point, I forgot what the other point Ed was.
No, but on that, you need someone. If there's a bigger man than you telling you to fix her. So when Viv Richards used to go to them man there and say, listen, fix up. You're not arguing with Viv Richards. If Viv Richards is not in, you lose his run. But it's the control of the room. It's the respect. That's what I tell you. Pogba is just not on the pitch. It's in the dressing room as well.
Anyway, enough about that now.
What should be done, Robert? Because clearly, it's your team. You refuse to recognize what we were telling you last week. Your hard ears. Even you must be able to see what we warned you about last week and what I'm warning you about this week again.
You did not warn me. You didn't warn us about anything like this. You didn't warn me.
Did I not say there is a problem?
You did say. I think we all acknowledged there was a problem, but then for it to manifest itself in the most unlikely way last night, I think it just underpinned it.
There you go. So that means that every team throughout the season has mad problems. That's how these 38 games are going to be played out. You'll have problems.
You're right, Rob. I think the only difference is when you're the champions of England and your demise is what it is. Okay.
Demise.
Yeah, I say demise because if you look at
right in your comment, did you?
Hold on.
Google it. Google it, Robert. If you don't know what the word means, Google it.
Demise.
Let me tell you why I say demise,
and then his sister, right? Demise.
Robbo, listen, Robbo. If you look at the teams that you're not gathering the points, those are the teams that you should be beating.
Very true. We can clearly see that's something that's happening right here in front of us. But that's not a demise. That's a problem that's happened because of the injuries, and form. So put those things together.
Right.
There's your problem.
Right. That's your problem. It's not about, it's attitudinal. Look that one up as well.
Auntie Judy, she had my sister, mother. Anyway, we've given our squads. We tried to do this one, but it got drawn out. We were talking about star players. We ended up talking about black people, slavery.
That's right. I'm not going to watch no match at Burnley.
We started talking about child poverty. This is not on. Ernie, get a grip of these guys. We would just like your star player for the game on Sunday. I'm just going to be very quick. and give you my star player, although I got it wrong. My star player of the. I'm going to go this time. I should have done what Spoonie done. I'm going with Thiago.
All right. I'll give you my star player.
It's so predictable.
I know. I'll give you my star player, and it will be a United player. I would say Edinson Cavani, who looks like a real steel and
racist.
I think what Ibrahimovic did for United many, many years ago, if you remember, just that influence on and off field. I think Cavani looks like he's got that in that locker. So I'm going to go for Cavani.
We've done that before. Who's the Scottish boy that came in for the boy? The boy from Scotland, from Celtic. Didn't he come in and do a couple of...
Larson? Yes. Similar. Yeah. Very similar.
So we should say we've got a record of that. Just rinsing the last piece of juice out of them.
I mean, you can only appreciate what the likes of Rashford and Martial and Greenwood must be learning from a Cavani.
You're learning from Sanchez.
What? What's coming this now?
Star player, Ernie.
Didn't you not have Crouch playing for you? We don't go there with me, you know. Crouch. Didn't you have Crouch playing for you?
You invented the robot. No, you know that. What was going on about 100 years before he had that? No, I think Cavani will be very pivotal. I would like to see Greenwood and Cavani start, because I think that there's got the potential to be a little bit special over this period here. Not longevity, but over this period here. The master and the youth.
So, well, you know, I'm slightly looking at kind of social implications of these things. I'm not just looking at the sport, right? And when I looked at, shut up, Robbo. When I looked at how they handled Greenwood versus how they handled Foden,
get the violins out.
Oh yeah,
it was another one of those Raheem Sterling ones for me.
Yes,
and I think this will be the defining of that young man if he can come back from that. So, sentimentally, yes. But I'm going for him because I think he's looking at Rashford going, well, I'm as good as you, you know, I'm as fast as you are. I've got stuff as well. And if we could get something out of him, I think, you know, he'll have a kind of steel running through him that will make sure that he can deal with everything. I think they battered him.
I think the good judges at United tell me that Greenwood is actually the best finisher at the club.
Which judges? He went to court again.
No,
but
that's the captain. That's not him.
Hold on, Robbo. Here we go. Greenwood's demise, and then he's right in terms of the Foden treatment. I think the Greenwood treatment actually affected his game.
Yes.
How does it not at that age? How does it not? You think of who we know at that age and how delicate they must be and fragile, and how you have to pick them up and tell them they're going to be all right.
I think the incident. I think the incident with Foden and Green was bad enough, and they took blame and they got punished, for the want of a better term. But then to see Foden still getting into England squads, still getting the love from his own club manager, and obviously that's.
I would say. I mean, I agree with the fact that his treatment in the press was ridiculous, but
we know why it was ridiculous.
Foden got into the England squad purely because he was playing football where Greenwood wasn't.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, but he stayed in there, even though you could argue that because he's got, you know, a mother, a child. His situation is a lot more secure. In that respect, he's got a lot more to argue and answer for when he comes home. And the way that they hung him out, I didn't like it. And you know, tapping his right.
He should have gone to Rashford's house then. Rashford should have took him in. The Rashford good with the youth then. That's when I said, come in, man. Come, there's a bowl of soup. Here. Come sit down
I got some food.
beside me. Yeah, but no, listen, Eddie, I love the conversation. Somebody commented and said, boy, that Edward, I know he's on the BBC, but he's good in it. I said, well, you know, they have some talent left over there.
That was lethal, wasn't it, Ed?
Listen, they wasn't mad at your comment, like, you know, your comment about these poor children in Liverpool, but they were.
Oh, sure. You see, you had to remind them of that, innit?
But they were very much leaning towards your comment, your social commentary, where you spoke about how society treats black footballers in the same way they treat us in our daily lives, and that is something I would love. We might have to put Ernie out because he's old school. We may have to talk about that, because I think that's something. And yourself, Rodney, because you comment on the game, and I'm pretty sure when you're out there with the boys with their clippers at the matches, and you watch the game yourself, you hear the opinions in the press room, and Foden's lovely player, blah 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 blah. It's something that and I watch football, and nowadays I'm afraid to say, even when Carragher and Neville's on, I have to turn these brothers down, bro.
Absolutely right. Turn them down. And, you know, we go full circle to the Paul Pogba scenario. So if we talk about Mason Greenwood and put that to one side, you're talking about a World Cup winner in Pogba, the leader of the pack in that French dressing room, as Ed said, arguably the leader of the pack at Man United. And the media treatment of him has been absolutely ridiculous.
Soonest on Sky.
Well, I was going to tell you,
Keane is worse, isn't he?
It's become personal. I think
Keane acts to the cameras, but Soonest in his heart. Well, if I had that lad, I'd have him up against the blocker.
That's because he played for Liverpool, right?
Because he's a nasty type. He's a nasty type, and there's a lot of those people. And I can't hold my hands up and qualify, but I'm sure Rodney can, who work in sports media, who are very biased with the pen.
Yes.
Well, it's also.
We've got that with Pogba. I could say Serena Williams. I could say Lewis Hamilton. You know, they've all suffered at that pen just because they've been very, very good at what they do, but their face or whatever doesn't fit.
Well, we had it with LeBron James, didn't we, in basketball, where she said to him, shut up and dribble. There's a man who's built a school, has made sure that children get breakfast, that their parents get supported. So in terms of contributions that he's made to humanity, they far outweigh Michael Jordan's, who's belatedly come to the cause. For me in England, though, in terms of football, I just want you to listen to the language, you know, athletic, muscular. Very, very rarely do they use the word intelligent when they're referring to black players. So Sheringham was always intelligent. He was slow as a rail judge, but he was intelligent and whatever. And all the others were athletic. And when you hear people refer to black people, cool. If you have a black person in public life, they will be cool. So language for me is really, really important. And when you're watching a game of football, it's important that you listen to the language that's being applied. And how comes somebody like Harry Kane will be talked about as though he's the greatest footballer the world has ever seen? They will very, very rarely criticize somebody like him, but the criticism will go towards any black player, Dele Alli or whoever it might be. Just watch it. If you don't, what I'm saying is, if I highlight it, Roddy's highlights it. When you watch a game and listen to the commentary, you tell me if we're not right.
Bro, I watch it at Liverpool. I watch it. Mane is an athletic, sharp mind, sharp in body. Raheem Sterling, I don't think, and I just call those two players, and I'm not putting any of the other players down, but I think by far for the last 2 seasons, they have been. You can talk about Kevin De Bruyne all you like. I'm talking about what these guys do to a team.
That's right.
Raheem Sterling and Mane have been the best 2 players in the Premier League.
Yeah, but Harry Kane and De Bruyne get all the plaudits.
Yeah, Sugarcane.
And they'll always get them.
Yeah, I call him Sugarcane. But me and Rodney, we talk about this all the time. You know, someone just put up when Rashford bought a couple of houses for his mum, and Foden bought. Foden done the same. What did he do? He bought a house as well.
That's slightly different. So what happened? That was Foden and Raheem Sterling. And that was the moment that Raheem Sterling rose above everything else, because he pointed out, you've called me Flash because I bought my mum a house, and you've called him generous, kind, caring, all of those things. In regards to Rashford, what happened was, they asked him, you're doing all this stuff, do you know where your dad is? That's what one MP asked him. And the second thing was, well, how can you be talking about feeding children when you're buying houses? Well, so what must he do? Take it and spend it on drink and a nightclub? It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous comparison. But the great thing about the way the world has moved, Robbo, is that they were called out for it. So that wouldn't have happened before. So the fact is, we're talking about it still happening, but actually, all those things that I've mentioned, those people were called out for. They're called out for Lewis Hamilton not getting a knighthood when you've got a guy who's won 2 or 3 Opens and has won it. This guy has won more championship races than any other person, and he hasn't been knighted. I'd go further. How come Lennox Lewis isn't a knight?
Crazy.
How come Lennox Lewis hasn't been knighted? Because Daley Thompson, we know why, because he whistled the national anthem. But apart from that, Daley Thompson, double. Did you just say who?
No, I'm saying Rooney hummed the national anthem. That's just as bad as
whistle. He stood up. Can you remember, Rudders? Tessa Sanderson bar like a baby. Tessa was crying. My bad.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not going to get knighted.
Well, that is plain wrong, man. I mean, I think I think if the viewers and listeners want to hear more about that, I think we can go into that possibly.
We can do a whole show on that, Robbo.
We'll pick some moments in the season, and then let's just, maybe Easter or some. Easter's a good time to take stock, isn't it? Middle of March, as to what's going on, what the indicators are, and we can make some predictions now. Maybe pick them up and see how people feel. I'll definitely be up for that.
I mean, Eddie's point is so valid.
Talking about predictions, because time is running now. What we predict this weekend?
This weekend, the obvious one is a United win, but the FA Cup doesn't always go like that. But I think Liverpool's problems will be added to this weekend by getting knocked out of the FA Cup. I'm going to say 2-0 Man United.
Rod, 2-0. Okay.
Wood.
I think, football makes fools out of all of us, doesn't it? Because the trajectory is that Liverpool are having an incredibly tough time. They throw out all of their players, give them a rest, give them time to think about what they're doing, bring in the kids. The kids are not quite up to it. And the truth may be that the kids are more up for it than the big heads have been. But I still think we can't play a weakened team as such. We still have to play a team that would do very, very well. And I still think 1 or 2-0. I don't think Liverpool score.
So you're going, what, 1-0?
1-0.
1-0. Okay, Ed's going 1-0. Robbo.
Well, I think Sunday is advantage Manchester United at home. They've been a winner of the trophy in recent years. I think they, as Eddie said, these games, FA Cup games, can make a fool out of you. It takes a penalty. It's a one game. Mm-hmm. If you get tonight, is it extra time?
No. You get extra time, but there must be a result.
There must be a result.
When the game's played, there must be a result.
Extra time, and you can get penalties. So, my team's in bad form. Advantage is Manchester United. I think Liverpool could go there, do the 90 minutes, extra time, win on penalties.
Nice one, Rob. I like that.
Well, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going for United on penalties. I think over 90 or 95.
You didn't say that before. You didn't tell me about penalties before.
No, what? You did not say that. I said that.
You did, right? Yeah.
I said that.
You said penalties to me earlier on.
I said that it would take penalties, Robert. That's what I'm telling you about you Liverpool people, You must stop you.
Same way I'm going in our music. I'm like teeth man forward.
Whoa. Whoa, you went too far.
Don't worry
you
about
reckon penalties as well. But you reckon, man? I don't know. I think
penalties.
I don't think Patrick, there was a comment from Tricky Nicky we can pull up again. But Patrick says, I think Liverpool will play a strong team. And on that point, what Ed put forward, Foden is naturally talented and clever, and Raheem Sterling is instinctive and quick. Go figure, says Tricky Nicky. Great point.
All about the language, isn't it?
It's all about the language.
I'm going Manchester United on penalties, bro. That's me.
Okay.
I'm going a draw over 90 minutes. I think that it will be 1-1 again. No, I'm not again. 1-1, and United win it on penalties.
Oh, so you think Liverpool score then?
Yeah, I think you score at Old Trafford.
Wow.
I think you score at Old Trafford.
I think the only chance Liverpool gets a scoring is a penalty, bro.
It don't matter. It don't matter. You score. I think Liverpool will score on Sunday. United will score, and it will go to penalties, and we'll nick it on penalties.
Okay.
And that'll be the end of Liverpool's whole season.
No.
And as I said, I think it's interesting because Klopp might have one eye on a game against Tottenham the following Thursday. So it's a balancing act, isn't it?
Well, we've got,
Is this his most challenging time since he joined Liverpool? Can you? Yeah. I was trying the other day to think. I know it took a while. He got to some finals and he didn't win any.
Europa League finals and lost.
Yes. I can't think of a time when it was like, ooh.
I think there was a season. I think his second season with a game where the period where we went into a game against Tottenham and they bust us open, and we had Lovren. This is before.
Oh yes, I remember that. That was when Tottenham were playing at Wembley.
Yes, and this is where Liverpool had recognised he's inherited this team from Brendan Rodgers, and he's thrown out Sacco, and he's gone. I'm doing it. He's done his Frank Sinatra. I'm doing it my way, and he had a torrid time. And I think that season we didn't do very well, but he managed to get us. I think we got into Champions League place. I think it's the second season. So there was a moment where he did have a problem, and we were having defensive problems at the time. And
this is the rockiest time, though. This is the rockiest time since he's been there.
I don't know. I think that period was just as bad. I mean, what makes it look, obviously, it highlights it because we are the champions. But that period where he was, where we didn't really
scored a goal in 4 games. What are you talking about?
Pardon?
You haven't scored a goal in 4 games.
Well, we were losing games. This is pre 2017. I think it was 2016. We were losing a lot of games.
It makes it really hard for you to win. With Man City going the way they are, Leicester and Man United, where you would have been odds-on favourites, you're not anymore. Chelsea's about to change their manager very, very soon.
Tottenham are in the shake-up.
Well, I think they will be, but maybe they've had their blip.
I think all those teams are in the shake-up. Apart from possibly Chelsea, I think they're all in the shake-up because there's only 6 points. The difference, and there's not 6 points the difference between the team that is third, second. So you watch those teams behind you, watch their results. You take your eyes off the ball, like what we all saw with Liverpool.
If I told you to call it now, though, who would you say would win it?
They took their eyes off the ball, and in come Man City like a train. I was watching Tottenham and worried about Man United, and Man City come like a train. So
but they had all those games in hand. If I asked you to call it now, guys, because the Chinese is coming true again. If I asked you to call it again, who would you say is favourite here and now today for the Premier League?
Man City.
Favorite. Man City.
Because I like a little flutter, I'm going to go for Tottenham.
No, Tottenham.
You don't like a flutter. You believe that if you follow the rainbow, there'll be a pot of gold. You believe in unicorns. You think that Bigfoot Sasquatch is a real somebody. You're crazy. You've lost it.
Tottenham do damage. They definitely do damage to the top 4, but they are not winning. They haven't got the squad to.
I said to somebody today that the only way Tottenham's going to win the Premiership is if they go back to black and white TV.
You can't win it. Rodners, isn't it right that historically years that end with a 1 are good for Tottenham?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, if they can keep Son and Kane fit and with their defensive nous, they're in with a shout. Trust me.
I don't think they got a defensive nous. I think he's got a good way of playing, but defensive nous, I don't see it there. Don't see
That Patrick Tapping.
He's right. He's right. That just come through, didn't it? If he is as good as they say, and he is the provider, the engine room, he's out for 6 weeks. We're going to find out about them now.
That Vardy's out for I think a couple of weeks as well for Leicester. So
get in, Liverpool.
Oh God!
Put this way, Liverpool season could be done inside the next week, Robbo.
No, sorry.
If you lose to United and then lose to Tottenham.
No, I tell you where Liverpool's game is done. 0 finish.
Yeah.
City game. If you lose to Tottenham, everybody's got losses coming. If you lose to City, done. That's the game, and at that point, I'm not going to do this show anymore. Bad man. Me have a bad mind streaking at me like Ernie.
We just get a picture of him and we leave it there, Ernie. Just a picture of Robbo.
So we are going to come back with the I'm hoping that we get somebody that can come in and have some footballing nous to, apart from Rodney, who's an Arsenal fan, to come and share this space for us. We've talked about some obvious names to come in and sit in the Manchester United and Arsenal game, which is coming.
Robbie's a Tottenham fan. You can get him in. What about Ray? Ray, we could give Ray some pressure, Ernie.
Which Ray?
What? Ray Fifth. Give him some pressure. He's a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
We don't want the Liverpool pressure. I told you Arsenal. It's Arsenal.
Arsenal next week.
Arsenal players are stuck in Barbados or something. They can't come back. You bang your nan scored though, didn't he? He did well, didn't he?
Yeah, bang your yang.
Yang bang.
Yang. He's scored.
I see you guys.
Earlier on.
Okay, look, you see that? You talking about Tottenham? Hey, Rudders is threatening us, everybody. I'm scared.
So we'll look to come back with that as a show and a treat, and we'll talk some more about some of the issues around the game. And hopefully Ernie would have changed that shirt because he reckons he's got a closet full of these old.
I'm coming with the next shirt again. Don't worry.
All I can say is I think that Arsenal Man United will be
those
much
old
more
dirty thinking shirt.
I'm going to have something big in the background next week, mate. You're going to see something big in the
When
background.
are we playing Arsenal again?
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
I'll see you guys on Friday. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. The great Edward, Daddy Ernie, Rodney Hines. It's been a treat.
Yeah,
Take
man.
care. See you later.
Take it easy, guys. God bless.
See you, all those who's watching. Respect.